Hi students, Assalamualaikum and greetings. So in this chapter 5, we're going to learn on business entities and also formation. Basically, there are two parts of the chapter, which is the two learning objective. The first one is to understand the types of business entities, and secondly, to understand the formation of business. So let's get started. Now, let's look at there are actually how you wanted to form a business in Malaysia, yeah. So every businesses in Malaysia need to be registered. You cannot simply start out a business without any registration, yeah. So that is illegal business. So don't do that. So in order for you to start a business, you need to register. So there are 4 types of registration that you can do depending on the types of business entities that you will be doing. The first one is the Business Registration Act 1956, Amendment 1978, and also Procedures of Business Registration 1957. Second, a Company Act 1965. The third registration that you can do is Cooperative Act 1948. And number 4 is the Parliamentary Act or State or Government Enactment. This one will be endorsed and also approved in the Parliament. So the first one here is when you wanted to do what they call a sole proprietor kind of business entity or a partnership. If you wanted to open a company, you need to register your business in the Company Act 1965 registration. If you want to open up a cooperative, okay, then you will register it under the Cooperative Act 1948. So, like I mentioned just now, the Business Registration Act 1956, Amendment 1978, and Procedure of Business Registration 1957 is where you register a sole proprietorship or a partnership. And under the Company Act, there are different types of company that you can be registered. So, typically, the one that we have in Malaysia is the private limited company. As you know, it is known as Sendirian Berhad. So if you see any shops or any company with Sendirian Berhad at the end of the name of the company, that means you know they are registered under this Company Act 1965. So let's look at the 3 common forms of business entities registered. Okay, normally businesses like SMEs, SMEs are small and medium enterprises. They will register their business under sole proprietorship or partnership or private limited company, or it can be an evolution. Okay, they first started with sole proprietorship, then they evolved to become a partnership, and then they can also evolve to the private limited company. And there is also a situation whereby they simply just jumpstart the business with a private limited company, or it can just start with partnership and stay until the end the partnership, or even the sole proprietorship. Okay, but typically sole proprietor, they will actually evolve to become a private limited company. Now let's look at the characteristics of sole proprietorship. Okay, it is formed, like I told you, under Business Act 1956, Amendment 1978. Now, the sole proprietorship is solely owned by one person. From the word sole is solo, solo, one person, right? Single. Where management rests on that person whose liability is unlimited. And this is the simplest business structure whereby you feel that you wanted to start a business, so you register yourself as the owner, okay? And typically, the name of the business is the name of the owner of that particular business. You don't call it a company, okay? Because it is not a company, because it is just a business. So typically it is called an enterprise, okay? And it requires a small amount of capital to start with compared with other form of business entities. Now let's look at the advantages of sole proprietorship. Why is it good to open up or start a business with this type of business entity? The first one, because it is easy to manage, because owner or proprietor can make decision by himself or herself. Secondly, the owner will enjoy a certain degree of flexibility, since as a sole owner, he can actually react quickly and positively regarding necessary changes in the business. So whatever management decision that need to be done will be decided by the owner himself or herself. So he or she will have the degree of flexibility, okay, or the total decision towards anything that need to be done in that particular business. Another advantage is that it is easy to form as well as easy to dissolve. with minimum formality. Dissolve here means you can close down easily. All right. And number 4, in this particular sole proprietorship, as nobody shares the rewards of the business, all profits will be going to the owner. Okay, so whatever that you sell, whatever that profit that you earn will belongs to you because you are the sole owner, right? Another thing is that the good thing about this or sole proprietorship is that not much government rules and regulation is being imposed towards you. Okay, for instance, the yearly financial statement that needs to be submitted to the Inland Revenue Board does not require a validation by a qualified auditor. Okay, you can just submit. And the owner just pay income tax based on his total individual income. So there's no company tax, okay, or business tax for this particular sole proprietor, but they only need to pay an income tax. According to how much profit that he earned, he declares that there is the amount of income tax that he needs or she needs to pay to the Inland Revenue. However, there are also some disadvantages of being a sole proprietor. First one, limited source of capital that could limit the business activity because you are the only owner. So whatever amount of money that you have will be limited to that amount. Okay? Although the liability of the business is unlimited, it is actually a disadvantage because you can actually acquire as many as loan as possible, as many as money that the banks or the other financial institution wanted to give to you. But the trick or the catch is that as you have this unlimited liability, if something goes wrong with your business or you are declared bankrupt, the banks or the financial institution can go to your personal assets, okay, to earn back whatever money that you borrow from them, right? Next one, the future development of this business will be limited and depend on the management capability, okay, because you are the only one that actually create the business, manage the business. So if you want to develop, then it will depends on you. If you don't want to develop the business, it will also depends on you. Okay, as the owner is solely responsible of carrying out all the tasks. Okay, therefore a lot of time and effort needs to spend in managing the business, and the lifespan of business will depend upon the age of the owner. Okay, so in this particular sole proprietorship, the disadvantage is that if you die, for example, then the business will automatically be dissolved. Except if, let's say, you have a son or daughter that would like to continue your business, they need to re-register the business under different name. Can't be the same name. Okay, but it can be the same shop. It's just that if you die, then the one that actually continue doing the business for you will have to re-register the business. Okay. Next, let's look at partnership. A partnership is a legal business entity with 2 or more partners. Meaning to say you start a business with partners. Yeah, it can be up to 20 persons. All right. And as I told, it is incorporated under the Business Registration Act 1956, Amendment 1978. And in this form of business entity, partners will carry out the business, share the capital together, profit together, and also losses together. Let's look at the advantages of partnership. It's going to be easy also to set up with few formalities. And it's easier to secure financial assistance because you have partners. So when you go to the bank, for example, you want to apply for loans, then the bank will see there are many partners. That means if something happened to you, then your partners will actually enable to continue paying the loans, especially. Okay, equity can be increased through enlisting additional partners in the way that if, let's say, you need more money, more capital, okay, equity or assets, yeah, you can actually get more people to become your partner as long as it is not exceeding 20%. Business risk can also be reduced and distributed among partners. In case of losses, then you can actually share the burden together. Unlike sole proprietor, if you have losses, that means you lost everything by yourself. Okay. The next advantage is that the responsibility of managing and handling the business can be divided equally among the partner. So that is when you can actually ask some partner to manage the account, some other partner to manage on the promotion, on the marketing part of it. Some partner can actually manage on the management. Some partner can manage on the production. Okay. And a lot of ideas, talents, and skill can be pulled together because two is better than one, isn't it? So you have more ideas, more people that will solve together the problems if you face any issues or problems, okay? And as in sole proprietor business, for this particular partnership as well, the income tax is not imposed on the partnership itself, but on the owner as individual. So each and every partner will later on will pay income tax. So again, there is no business tax or corporate tax or company tax for the partnership. Next, let's look at the disadvantages. All right. So, of course, the same thing like the sole proprietor, one of the disadvantages of having unlimited liability is that, yes, you can borrow money as much as you want unlimitedly, but if something goes bad or wrong to your business, they can actually go towards your personal assets. All right. Next, the lifespan of partnership business depend on the lifespan of the partners. Okay, let's say one partner pass away, okay, or is being declared bankrupt, the business is automatically dissolved. However, you can avoid this from happening if you already put in your partnership agreement. Okay, so next one, another disadvantage of this partnership is that if there's no letter of agreement is being made, unethical or misconduct behavior may happen. And there can also be a risk of personal clashes among partners because there are so many ideas. Everybody wanted to contribute their ideas. Everybody want to do that thing, different things, all right? So in the end, you will have some conflicts, okay? And after having conflicts, you do not handle it professionally. It will also actually affects your personal relationship with your partner. Like at first, perhaps 5 of you are best friends. Now, because of some problems or some conflicts with the business, you disagree with one another, then you clash already. So you don't like each other anymore. So that could be another disadvantage, right? Now, talking about the partnership agreement, like I told you just now, so the Business Registration Act does not specify that the formation of partnership must follow by a written agreement between partner. Okay, however, it is necessary for you to have that particular contract or partnership agreement to avoid any misconduct or misunderstanding that can occur among the partners. So these are some of the important elements that need to be stated in the partnership agreement. The first one, of course, you need to tell and state what is the name of the business. Again, in partnership, there's no senior berhad, okay, or there's no incorporation or corporation, no. The name of the business itself could be just whatever name you want without senior berhad, okay? And the duration of the partnership should be mentioned, okay? So that it is preventing any dissolution of the business if somebody died or somebody wanted to withdraw from the partnership. Individual involved in the managing of the partnership business should be listed inside that particular agreement, okay? And the accounts of the business and share capital also need to show the contribution of each partner and the rights and obligation of each partner towards the capital. Meaning to say, if you say, okay, I is the first partner, I contributed 10,000. Okay, so I mentioned contribution 10,000. All right, and the right and obligation of each partner towards the capital is that for every profit that is made from that 10,000, okay, I will earn how many percent of the profit. So you need to mention that in the partnership. Kau tidak gaduh nanti, alright? And then the properties are considered as asset of the business, okay? And the partnership, as you know, it is governed by the Partnership Act. So if partners do not have their own agreement, the provision of the Act will become applicable, okay? So let's say you don't want to create this particular partnership just now, then you can follow the partnership Partnership Act, okay, that is governed by this particular Partnership Act 1961. Among others, in section 26 and 27, that particular partnership agreement will mention that profit or losses are to be shared equally. If you agree with this, then you just leave it. If you don't agree, then you have to put in your agreement, your own agreement, how much profit to be shared. If I contributed 10,000, how much profit I should get? If another person contributed only 5,000, how much profit should they earn? Okay, and typically losses, yes, that will be shared equally. Not to say that if I contribute 10,000, then we lost, then I have bigger losses share. No. Okay, typically the losses are being shared equally, but profits are being shared according to how much capital contribution given into the partnership. Okay, next, other things you can read from number 2 until number 10. Yeah, I don't have to go through all of this. This is just some what they call it, agreements. Okay, if you don't want this to happen, then you create your own agreement. Okay. So the registration of sole proprietorship and partnership can be done, like I told you, in the SSM, okay, or in English it is CCM, the Companies Commission of Malaysia. SSM is Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia. Okay, you can go to the website here, ssm.com.my, and you go and find how to do business in Malaysia. Okay, there are many guidelines can be followed. Alright, and how you want to register also can be found in this particular site. Okay. Next, moving on to the PLC. PLC is the private limited company. Now, a private limited company, the one that you saw Sendirian Berhad, right? Sendirian Berhad is private. Berhad means limited. Okay, so that's why it's Sendirian Berhad or private limited company. Okay. PLC. So this PLC is set up under the Companies Act 1965, and as a corporate body, it has characteristics that differentiate it from a sole proprietor and partnership. So it's totally different than these two that I mentioned just now. Okay, so it is because private limited company is a legal entity and its identity is separate from the identity of the company's member, unlike the sole proprietor and partnership. Sole proprietor is the business is the sole proprietor. So that's the partnership. Partnership is the business is the partnership. It's about them. But in corporate or this company, private limited company, the company is company, while the owners are a separate entity. Owners are owners, company is company itself. Okay? So that is how it is actually totally different from the sole proprietor and partnership. So these are the requirements. So it's not that what they call simple, yeah, as simple as private limited, as simple as sole proprietor or the partnership just now. So there are 9 requirements. 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, 10 requirements. Okay. First one, you need to have a memorandum of association, articles of association, share of capital of a company, and blah, 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 all of this. Okay, you can also find this in the SSM website. Okay, I'm not going to go through each one of this. Next, we're moving on to the business formation. So there are 4 business formation that can be done. Okay, either you can start from scratch, you can get it from family business succession, you buy an existing business, or you acquire a franchise. So let's look at first how you want to start from a scratch, which is the most popular one. Okay, so starting from scratch is where entrepreneur will have to make a decision on appropriate form of business. So you start from zero. Scratch here means from zero. Okay, you will have to think whether you want to open up a sole proprietorship, a partnership, okay, or a private limited company. So you first decide on the form of business. Second, you're gonna decide on what is your business or your trade name. What is the name that you want to put in your business? Okay, or the business name itself lah. Right. Next, you're gonna decide also on the business and product service image. Okay, what type of product, what type of business image that you want to offer? Is it for high class people? Okay, or is it for everybody? Okay, or is it an exclusive kind of business? Right. So that is when you need to decide that. You also need to decide on the suitable location, okay, appropriate funding to kickstart the business, and also a proper business planning for everything that needs to be taken into consideration. For your assignment, the third assignment, business plan, you are going to start a business from scratch, okay? Now, what are the advantages of starting from scratch? You have freedom to make your own decision, okay? You have the opportunities to try and practice your own ideas. You are free to choose suitable business location and premise, acquire appropriate machines, equipment for the business. All depends on you. You can freely choose whatever you want to do with that business. Okay, also you are free to develop business image and personality that suits the desire and interest of you and the business itself. While the disadvantages of starting from scratch is that you need to put a lot of effort because you start from zero, right? You have nothing. So you require more time, more energy and money to ensure the business can actually kickstart. Okay? And you have higher chances of losses due to high impact of implementation costs. Okay? Because to start a business is not cheap. Therefore, there will be higher chances of you of having losses, especially for the first few months. Okay? And other than that, entrepreneurs also will not be able to accurately estimate your sales, cost, and also profit because you don't have any track record or history. You can't actually predict correctly 100%. You know how much will you earn next month. You can't tell. Okay? And also, as a new venture, okay, usually you have no track record. Therefore, it's quite difficult for you to convince the financial institution in order for you to get the financing, unless you have a good cable. Okay? Next one, second formation. Okay, second formation, other than you start from scratch. Now, you can also start a business by buying an existing business. It means that you start a new venture by taking over, okay, an existing business, either buying the whole business or partial share in the existing business. It means that you don't start from zero, but you see, let's say that particular one shop, and you think that that particular shop is, you like that shop so much, okay? You like it so much, and you talk to the owner, and then you say to the owner, I want to buy this shop from you, okay? So that is buying an existing business. However, you must investigate first before you buy. Make sure that, one, if let's say the owner approach you asking you, do you want to buy my business? Okay, then you have to investigate what are the reasons why they wanted to sell the business. Okay, so that you must make sure that when you buy the business, you remember buying that business means you also buy whatever contracts or legally bound kind of agreement that comes together with that particular business. Okay, remember the case of AirAsia when Tony Fernandez bought AirAsia with 2 ringgit, right? He has millions of debts with that particular company. But then he was able to actually make sure that AirAsia survived and also able to earn many more money. Another way for you to start a business, this is not really you starting the business, but this is actually family business succession. This is when you have a family business. You become the successor of the business. Okay, so entrepreneur is the successor of the business which was started by the early family members, which we call the predecessors. Okay, so the good thing is that you don't have to face any difficulty in starting up a new venture, because what you do is actually you take over from perhaps your dad or your grandfather or grandmother. Okay, so there are 4 levels basically. The level 1 is inception, which is this is when they first started the business. Normally it start from scratch. Okay, or you also can start from buying another business. Okay, so the level 1 is business inception. Level 2 is business growth and development, where the founder and also the first generation is in the business. Level 3 is when you have the founder, first generation and second generation in the business. We call it a business maturity. And level 4 is the business transition period, whereby the founder is no longer in the business, typically because they already passed away lah. Okay, then there's only first generation, second and third generation. Okay, let's say this is your grandfather, then taken over by your father and your grandfather. Okay, then you take over with your father and your grandfather. Then let's say your grandfather passed away, then it is now your father, you, and perhaps your son or your daughter together with you in this, what they call business transition period. Okay, next. Another way, if you don't want to start from scratch, you don't want to buy an existing business, or you don't have family businesses, you can also acquire a franchise. Okay, this is an alternative way to start a new business. So a franchise is a product and or service distribution system which is governed by a contract, and it is made by 2 parties named leader, franchisor, and franchisee. So a franchisor is the one who sells the right to another party to operate the franchise. While the franchisee is the one that purchased the right from the franchisor to operate the franchise. Okay. Now, operating your franchise includes selling and marketing the product and or the services using the trade name, trademark, as well as a set of systems developed and owned by the franchisor. So remember, franchisor is the one who actually started the business, own everything about the business. So what they do is that they sell the rights, okay, the rights to operate the same business like what they are having. Typically, you know, McDonald's, KFC, right? Okay, so there are also like hotels such as Hilton, okay, Pullman. So those are actually a franchise. Okay. Now, to acquire a franchise, you need to make payment with the franchisors, okay, where franchisees need to agree upon signing off a franchise. So as a franchisee, let's say I want to open up a Hilton hotel, for example. Okay, I need to make payment to the franchisor. Okay, and there are 3 payments that need to be made. Number 1, franchise fees. Number 2, royalty fees. And number 3, advertising and promotional contribution fees. Franchisee fees is one-off payment made by franchisee to to purchase the right to the franchisor. Okay, while royalty fees is ongoing payment that need to be paid. Okay, it can be monthly or yearly. And the next one is the advertising and promotional fees. Okay, which is ongoing payment, is needed to be paid whenever they wanted to do a new advertising campaign or promotional funds to that particular franchise. Because as you know, when they do a franchise kind of advertisement, it is for every franchisees. Okay, so that's why every franchisees need to contribute to the advertising and promotional fees. Now, there are 2 types of franchise system that can be made. Number 1 is the product trade name franchise. Number 2, another option is business format franchise. So it depends, yeah. Products will be just on the product itself. Okay, this type of franchise system involve franchisee acquire the sales right, which includes you sell all the product, okay, trade name, trademark, and product from the franchisor upon signing the so-called what they call dealership contract and agree to sell the product line identified by the franchisor. Okay, so this one is commonly used in automotive, okay, like selling cars. So if you wanted to sell Proton cars, for example, so you become the dealer. So that is a franchise which is under product or trade name. Or petrol kiosks like Petronas or Shell, right? Soft beverages like what they call it, Coca-Cola, for example. So you want to open a Coca-Cola factory. What you do is you can create or build your own factory, and then you ask and sign agreement with Coca-Cola to get the license as a franchisee of product or trade name for selling and producing Coca-Cola, okay, or even tire industries. The another one is the business format franchise, okay. A business format franchise is also known as full-fledged franchise, whereby the franchisee is granted the right to manufacture and market the franchise's product, everything using a complete franchise's business setup, which comprises of the intellectual properties, marketing strategies, guided operational activities, the SOPs, yeah. It include whatever equipment that needed to be used by you must be according to what franchisor has agreed upon. Okay, and premise setting and also layout, including the exterior, interior layout, ambience, the color scheme, decoration must also in line with the franchise's brand and image. That's why you can see all McDonald's, they look the same, right? Not because McDonald's is one of the full-fledged franchise. KFC also like that. You will see that all the color scheme, okay, all the interior and also exterior layout are the same because that is a full-fledged franchise, which you must agree to do when you do this type of franchise. Alright, so with that, we have finished chapter 5. I hope you have able to understand all the important things in this particular chapter, which understand the types of business entities you have learned just now. There are how many types? We learned sole proprietorship, partnership, and also private limited company. And we also have learned on the business formation. How to form a business, you can do start from scratch, or you have family business association, or you can buy an existing business or acquire the franchise. Okay, so if you have any questions related to this module 5, please let me know in our telegram chat. All right, so I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.